that boy Wonder, yeah, that boy that's doing wonders. Yeah, I'm never gonna wander, yeah, my man, I'm never going under.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Gare Bear fitness episode. Right now I'm post-leg workout and ab workout. I'm actually getting ready to head over to Fort Lauderdale for just a little vacation this week. This week's been pretty hectic, so I'm not going to have a training video out, but I will give you guys a discussion video. Someone recently came to me and asked me about exercises for beginners, and I thought that would have been a great topic because it can go off into so many different ways. As you know, speaking on just different kinds of lifts, different kind of movements, stretches, stuff like that, and you know how you can do them, ranges of motion. But today I'm going to be filming and speaking to you guys about just a simple 5 exercises for beginners that I believe are mandatory. I know when I began lifting, compound lifts, which are multi-joint lifts, was something I did not do, and what was it, the first 3.5 years of my lifting, I've received a lot of injuries. I worked on a lot of single joint lifts, you know, because when you're first developing your body, the first thing that comes to your mind is, you know, all I want is arms, all I want is abs. And, you know, you're doing those workouts, you know, your body's starting to develop and all, but it looks like something's missing, you know, like your frame looks very frail. And, you know, through swim season and track season and just continuous lifting, I received a lot of tendonitis injuries and inflammation. And it was just not having a proper foundation of my body. And it's even the same structure when you think of it like building a house, you know. When you build a house, you start from the base and work your way up. You don't start from the base and then, you know, hop over to hanging a chandelier from something, because there's nothing to hang the chandelier from, you know. So it's all about building that solid foundation of your body to prevent injuries and to develop the most growth out of it. So some people call the lifts the big 3. I believe in the big 5, actually. And the big 5 would be your bench, your compound lifts, your bench, your squat, your deadlift, your shoulder press, and your barbell bent over rows. Some people prefer to swap their barbell bent over rows with their T-bar rows. Some people prefer to swap their military press with dumbbells. You can do dumbbell or barbell, but personally I believe that those are all 5 of the compound lifts, and I believe they're all mandatory due to the fact that one, if you have to choose between a compound and an isolation move is a single joint movement, you know, like a leg extension or a bicep curl or a leg curl, you know. You're going to want to do your compound lifts, and that's due to the fact that the first factor is compound lifts save time. A lot of people I know are very short on time in the gym when it comes to work or just personal things in their life. And compound lifts are multiple muscle group hitting exercises. And some people don't understand the concept of the human body. The way it works is, you know, we have multiple levels of muscle. You know, it's not just the muscles that people see when you're walking around on the beach or just in a shirt and shorts or something like that. There's different levels. So when you're doing a compound lift, due to the fact that there are multi-joint and multiple muscle group exercises, you're stimulating muscles that are below the layer of what people see. Another thing that's good about them is that they release a lot more testosterone and growth hormone, natural testosterone and natural growth hormone, compared to isolation moves, because they're putting a lot more stress on the overall body. Like when you compare a deadlift, you know, to a leg press or something, or a seated, you know, leg press, something like that. The deadlift hits your secondary muscle groups would be your traps, your rhomboids, your back, your upper back, you know, your lower back. Then you have your primary muscle groups for that lift, which would be also your lower back, and then you have your hamstrings for it. You know, whereas you're sitting down on a leg press and all you're doing is mostly hitting your posterior chain, your quadriceps, hamstrings, butt, a little bit of calves, you know. So those 5 lifts there are going to be what you want to begin with. A lot of times people don't realize that when you're beginning something, you always, like I said from the beginning, you always want a good base, you always want a solid foundation. You always want to work on your squats, your deadlifts, bench, shoulder presses, and barbell bent over rows, because when you also think about movements in life, these movements are what we do on an everyday basis. You know, we don't ever have to sit down and do a leg extension. We don't ever have to stand there and do a bicep curl. And I think isolation moves are great in a routine. And, you know, I'll do another video down the road about isolation moves and the importance of doing them to develop a, you know, properly aesthetic physique. But when it comes to prevention of injury and you know, releasing the most growth, saving time in the gym, you know, working your respiratory system, you know, speeding up your metabolism as well. You know, if you're working to burn fat or you know, just increase, you know, your overall cardio, because your heart's got to work a lot harder. You know, when you're going on a day, for example, when you compare your upper body days to your lower body days, what do you feel exerts you more? And personally, I feel it's leg day. You know, upper body days, you know, I do my dumbbells, my barbell press workouts as well. But I feel that when it comes to leg day, as soon as I'm done squatting, like my 3 sets of my squats, like I'm already burned out. Like I have to sit down and take like a 5 or 10 minute break. And that's just because you're putting so much stress and torque on your body. And it's just the overall systematic stress that's being put on your body versus, you know, starting off with something that's, like I said before, like a leg press, leg extension, leg curl, a calf press, something like that. And like I mentioned, you know, those are all great workouts as well. But the 5 workouts you definitely want to focus on, be it a beginner, intermediate, advanced, you know, someone who's just trying to get in shape. What's up, you guys? Sorry about that. The video just cut off. I had actually run out of space in my phone, so I had to clear out some photos and videos of other stuff I've been filming. But as I was mentioning before the video cut off, is on daily breakdown. Some people don't know the daily breakdown is, you know, doing what on what day, and I think that's something that you've kind of got to figure out for yourself. Personally, I like having 3 upper body days and 3 lower body days. Some people can get away with doing legs once a week and, you know, having 4 or 5 upper body days, and their body grows proportionately. For me, I train, like I said, for proportions, aesthetics, injury prevention, strength as well, but my main focuses are always aesthetics. So my Monday is usually my shoulders, back, arms, traps, and forearms. That to you may sound like it's a lot of a load, but personally, I know from experience my body grows under high volume. My next day is leg day, and that's usually squats and abs. I prefer to focus on my quadriceps on my Tuesday lifts. So a lot of times I'll be working on a more narrow stance squat. And like I said, I'll do a video for you guys on range of motions between all compound lifts, you know, going parallel, ass to grass, touching your chest on bench, you know, not touching your chest on bench. I'll do that in another video. Wednesday is my chest day. Personally, I train my chest in the middle of the week because, you know, when you're starting in the beginning of a week doing anything, you have a lot more energy, and my chest is the muscle group that develops the fastest, and it can grow out of proportion really quick, so I don't even train my chest that hard. But I always make sure it's on a Wednesday. Thursday is my deadlift day. When I deadlift, I do sumo deadlifts more so than conventional. Like I said, I'll make another video on that for you guys later. And I do straight leg deadlifts as well. And all of that is pulling for my hamstrings. I don't really focus on pulling for my back because I want to work more so on focusing on my posterior chain. I also do abs on that day as well, and I do a lot more focusing on my lower back development because I don't use my compound lifts to train my lower back. Even though it gets trained, I try and keep my lower back as a secondary muscle group, even though it really would be a primary in that, and I try and keep my hamstrings as my primary in that. Friday's my off day. Saturday is my full body day, and that's where the 3rd upper body and the 3rd lower body comes in. That's a day I kind of don't really, you know, focus on a low rep range and a high weight, high volume train day. I focus on something intermediate just to let my body kind of cool down. But that's how I always like finishing my week off. I always personally train under high volume. But for you guys, I mean, if you guys want to figure out like a simple way on how to run your week on that stuff, you can do like a push, pull, rest, you know, like a push, a bench Monday, a pull, you know, you can do a deadlift Tuesday, and then you can rest Wednesday, then you can squat, then you can, you know, shoulder press and deadlift. It's up to you guys, and figuring out how your routine works during the week is something that you have to figure out for yourself. And figuring out how your body reacts to it. Like some days, you know, maybe too much push back to back, you know, some days it may be too much pull back to back, and you've kind of got to figure out what your body works best under and what your body grows under as well. and what's not going to exhaust you to the point where you start overtraining. You always want to make sure your body has enough recovery time between muscle groups, and that's why on Monday I do a push and pull, and then Tuesday I do a push with my legs though instead of with my upper body again. Personally, that's just always how I like to train. And then Wednesday I'll do a push with my upper body. Thursday I'll do a pull. Friday's off, and then Saturday would be a push pull. I also have a lot of isolation movements as well. Just because I guess, oh my god, I'm sorry about that, guys. My phone just cut off again. Honestly, I have an iPhone, and I've had it for about a year, and I really don't know how to use it. I don't know where to delete stuff from other than, the simple storage of music and photos and all. Keep saying something about deleting stuff from iCloud, but I'm not sure how to use it. So if you guys know how to use it, please let me know. Conclusion of this video, guys, I'm going to go back and edit and then get ready to pack and head over to Fort Lauderdale. Check out my Instagram at Watson Alexander. Gerber Fitness, check it out. Stay shredded, guys. Enjoy your weekend.